KREM 2 News at Noon begins now.
A newly approved ordinance gives more time to renters dealing with an eviction notice when Spokane residents can use this resource.
It was a particularly foggy morning in Spokane. We are tracking where we go for the rest of the day as the mild weather continues.
And this going on today, students sharing their artistic perspectives with the community at the Spokane Black Voices Symposium, which you can expect for tonight. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on KREM 2 News at Noon. I'm Laura Papetti. Let's get right outside and go to weather with Thomas Patrick. He is standing by. And Thomas, you come into the morning meetings here at the newsroom and you're like, I don't have much to report, which, you know what? Good and bad to that, right?
Yeah, actually pretty benign weather pattern for a couple days, save for the fog that we had in the morning. We did see actually a slight extension to the dense fog advisories, but that's still allowed to expire by noon. Still a little bit of leftover fog out at the West Plains and at Spokane International Airport, but that 1/8 of a mile visibility is pretty well isolated because conditions are actually looking pretty good here. Some filtered sunshine behind me, but kind of a nice layer of some mid to high level clouds. So it does look a little bit cloudy and gray, but there's some strips of blue in between that. By the way, that's Coeur d'Alene looking all fine at that point. I remember at about 8 a.m. there was this really cool strip of clouds that was just hugging right along the water, but not hitting the cities or affecting the visibilities most anywhere else. So again, that foggy location at the airport appears to be actually the outlier in our forecast at the moment as we lead into the afternoon, which will be a bit warmer. 38 right now, 47 for the high temperature. Check out the Palouse where you didn't even deal with the fog to begin with. You should be the first in the 50s today.
All right, my friend, thank you. Coming in new this afternoon, the U.S. House narrowly passing a funding bill, voting 217 to 214. All that is left at this point is for President Trump to sign it, and the partial government shutdown will come to an end today. Renters in Spokane will now have access to a new eviction prevention program coming up this summer. Spokane City Council passed the ordinance 5-2 last night. It is called the Pathway for Eviction Diversion Program, and it is designed to streamline the process for tenants to get the money needed to try and prevent an eviction. This means once a landlord sends a notice, an eviction notice, a tenant then has 5 days to send them a written notice to participate in the program and go over available options. Supporters share this would help tenants who do not know what housing assistance they would even qualify for. However, those against it say the delays could have an impact on landlords.
Those programs do exist to help people, and it is to try to get the money through so that the landlords can get paid, but it can be hard to find that information.
For many small rental housing providers, delays like this is not theoretical. A few months without rent can be the difference between keeping the property and having to sell it.
There are exceptions to this ordinance if there are health and safety risks, a threat of harm, or criminal activity. The program is now set to go into effect coming up on June 1st. And the council also agreed to continue the conversation about the Immigration Enforcement Free Zones Ordinance. City leaders say it is meant to promote trust and safety within the community amid the immigration operations that are happening all over the country. Documents show the ordinance is meant to ensure city-owned property is not used to support immigration enforcement without a judicial warrant. The ordinance aims to protect immigrants and refugees and claims to decrease incidents of profiling. The council is expected to vote on the ordinance coming up February 23rd. We will certainly keep you updated. Right now, Spokane Mayor Lisa Brown is calling on Congress to help protect Haitians that are living and working in Spokane and around the country. She says she's looking for protection for the approximately 500 Haitians who live here in Spokane. So many of them were scheduled to lose their temporary protected status under the Trump administration today. Although yesterday a judge did put that move on hold. TPS is a government protection that allows non-citizens to live and work in the U.S. if their home country is deemed unsafe. Mayor Brown sent a letter to Spokane's congressional delegation calling the program a lifeline to people who are escaping humanitarian crisis, natural disasters, and political instability. The urgent search continues today for Nancy Guthrie, the mom of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie. Authorities now saying the 84-year-old was likely abducted from her Tucson home over the weekend. Guthrie was last seen around 9:45 on Saturday night when family dropped her off at her home. Then on Sunday morning, a friend called Guthrie's children, telling them she had not shown up for church. They then notified the sheriff's department around noon that day after not being able to find their mom.
Keep looking. You never know what you see. Maybe it's just a pair of headlights. But if you see something that just doesn't seem right in that neighborhood, please let us know.
So the Pima County Sheriff says tips have been pouring in from around the country, and as of right now, they don't have a motive. Coming in new today, Washington and Idaho are among the few states where paychecks have actually gone farther over the past 5 years. This is according to some new analysis of Bureau of Labor Statistics data, but by My Perfect Resume nationwide. Wages were up about 18% between 2020 and 2024. However, inflation rose faster at 21%. Now, in Idaho, purchasing power still grew by just over 3%. Washington was close behind, up about 2.3%. Montana and Wyoming also making the list. On the other end of the spectrum, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and Maryland seeing the biggest drops in spending power.